Today I am making an overnight sourdough loaf with a little twist. I wanted to add some fun inclusions, so I am doing a s'mores inspired sourdough loaf. To our bowl, we will add 100 grams of active sourdough starter and 325 grams of filtered water. I am not warming up my water because that would speed up the fermentation process, and I am trying to have this ferment all night, which is perfect for those who don't have the time to be waiting on dough. So now I'm adding 500 grams of flour and 10 grams of salt. You go ahead and mix everything together until you get a shaggy dough, and you let it rest on the counter for 30 minutes to an hour. I did go ahead and temp my dough, and according to the Sourdough Journey's chart, it would take 12 hours for this dough to ferment on my counter. So I like to temp my dough now because I feel like it gives me a better, time frame of when my dough will be ready and the bulk fermentation will be done. So go ahead and check that chart out. I think I will link it down below if I find it anywhere so you guys can take a look for yourselves. It'll help so much. So now I'm adding crushed up graham crackers, chocolate chips, and mini marshmallows. I add all three in between each stretch and fold that I do. I do like to do 4 stretches with the inclusions, and then I like to flip the dough over and kind of tuck all of the inclusions under the dough. That way the top can be nice and smooth. And then I like to put a few more inclusions on top while it does ferment for those 30 minutes on the counter before my second set of stretch and folds. I added about 50 grams of crushed graham crackers, 50 grams of the chocolate chips, and 50 grams of the marshmallows. You can add more if you'd like, but this was a total of 150 grams of inclusions. I do wish I added more chocolate chips onto this dough, so I would recommend putting maybe 75 grams to 100 grams of chocolate chips. That way you can see them more throughout your loaf. On to the second set. Now I am just going to stretch out the dough as I did in the first round, and I'm adding the leftover inclusions that I had. I didn't have many left, but I just added them here, and then I let the dough bulk ferment for another 30 minutes, and then I did a third set and a fourth set. Making a sourdough overnight is perfect for those who work a daytime job. That way, if you don't have the time to be doing sourdough during the day, it can do all the work overnight. Essentially, this would be perfect if you got off of work and mixed up your dough before bedtime, do the stretch and folds, let it bulk ferment on the counter overnight, and then in the morning before work, shape your dough, pop it in the fridge, and then it could do its cold proof while you're at work. And then after work, you can get home and bake your sourdough. That way you can have fresh bread, but not have the commitment of being home or whatever the case is. Also, taking the temperature of your dough is key to learning how to bulk ferment your dough properly. Sometimes if the dough is too warm, you want it to rise only 30-40% before putting it in the refrigerator, because when the dough is warm and you put it in the refrigerator, it's still rising, so it'll rise quick since it is warm, and it could overproof in the refrigerator. Unlike cold dough, it has to rise more on the counter before going into the refrigerator, because if you proof it for about 70% and you put it in the refrigerator, it's still going to rise slowly because it is colder than warmer dough. so it'll rise perfectly by the time you are ready to bake it. This is my dough in the morning. You can see it grew so much and it is nice and fluffy and aerated. It's pulling away from the bowl. It's not sticky to the touch and it just has bubbles everywhere. Look at how beautiful that dough is. So I did follow the chart and I did put this dough into the refrigerator after the 12 hours. And I went ahead and shaped it and put it in the refrigerator and I baked it that evening. This dough was pretty sticky from the inside because of all of the marshmallows. So when I was shaping it here, you can see like the streaks of the marshmallow on the mat, I think. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it was very hard to stitch because the marshmallows melt in the dough, and then when you bake it, they finish off melting completely. So you cannot see the marshmallows at all, but you can taste them. This is what the dough looked like in the Banneton before it's cold proof. You can see that it's pretty small in the Banneton, and this is what it looks like in the evening around, I think 6 p.m. I baked this dough. It grew so much, but it's because of all the sweetness of the marshmallows and the chocolate chips. So it was perfectly proofed. You could go ahead and check by poking your dough. If you see an indent and it comes back very slowly, it's ready to bake. If it springs back too fast, it's underproofed and it needs more time in the refrigerator to continue bulk fermenting. I preheated my oven to 450 degrees with my Dutch oven inside, and then I went ahead and scored my dough and baked this dough for 30 minutes with the Dutch oven lid on at 450. And then the last 10 to 15 minutes, I take off the lid, but I do go ahead and make sure that the top does not burn, because the marshmallows or anything sweet can make the dough just like burn from the top. Here you can see I was like borderline burning my sourdough loaf, but it came out perfect. The inside was fluffy and aerated, and it tasted so good. My kids loved it. I made it into French toast and it was honestly perfect. So give this recipe a try. Do an overnight sourdough loaf. It'll change your life and it'll be so convenient for those who can't do sourdough during the day. I want to thank you guys for your support on my channel and for watching this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Happy New Year, and hopefully this year is even better than the last.